5-on-5 elimination match. Credit to WWE for booking an interesting classic Survivor Series match with big names eliminated early and a finish that most likely did not expect considering the competitors involved in the contest. Dean Ambrose and Edge Styles were each eliminated, in large part, due to attacks from one another that Raw took advantage of through the match. Braun Strowman, after taking a flying elbow drop on an announce table via Shane McMahon, was counted out when SmackDown mascot James Ellsworth grabbed Strowman's foot from under the ring apron and did not allow him back into the ring. Owens was actually eliminated via disqualification for entering the ring without a tag and using the list of Jericho. It only took moments for Chris Jericho to follow him out of the ring as he was distracted by gathering the discarded papers of the list strewn across the ring and pray for an RKO out nowhere from Randy Orton. The highlight of the match, of course, was McMahon, who received some spotlight as he beat on Reigns and Rollins one after another. McMahon set up for a Van Terminator on Reigns but was thwarted when Reigns stood up and speared McMahon. The referee began counting but did not get to 3, he declared McMahon eliminated and trainers entered the ring to help him out. It was unclear as to whether there was a legitimate medical concern for McMahon, though WWE said after the match that he was okay. The aforementioned attack by an eliminated Ambrose led to a temporary reformation of the Shield, which powerbombed the world champion through the Spanish announce table. Styles was rolled back into the ring and pinned, leaving Rollins and Reigns against Orton and Bray Wyatt. Orton just hit an RKO on an airborne Rollins, who jumped from the top rope hoping to splash Wyatt. Just as it looked like Reigns was taking the upper hand, Orton shoved Wyatt out of the way of a spear, taking the brunt of the hit and allowing Wyatt to hit Sister Abigail for the 1-2-3 and final elimination. SmackDown, 2 survivors, Def. Raw, survivors, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton. SmackDown, Cruiserweight Championship, disqualification. The stipulation on this match was the entire Cruiserweight division would move to SmackDown if Kalisto won. Kendrick dominated the early going and locked in the Captain's Hook submission finisher not once but twice on Kalisto, only for the challenger to eventually find the ropes. Kalisto then took over by hitting the Selena del Sol, though he was unable to capitalize with a splash as Baron Corbin jumped into the ring to attack both men. Corbin, who is on SmackDown, cost Kalisto the title and his brand the division. The Brian Kendrick, C. Def. Kalisto via Tag Team 10-on-10 elimination match. While most of the early eliminations were not much of a surprise, New Day going out so early was confusing at first. Eventually it became obvious that WWE was trying to use this as a spotlight for some of its newer teams, which it accomplished. The Usos continue to look really strong as heels, and they should absolutely be the team to take the SmackDown titles off Slater and Rhino when that time comes. The finish was also solid. Cesaro had Jey Uso locked in the sharpshooter, and just as Jimmy Uso was about to interfere, Sheamus stepped in with a brogue kick to allow Cesaro to get the submission victory. Raw, 1 survivor, Def. SmackDown sole survivor, Cesaro and Sheamus. Raw, Intercontinental Championship. The stipulation on this match was that the IC title would flip over to Raw should Zayn claim the belt from Miz. There was some good action in this one with Zayn eventually gaining the upper hand via a Blue Thunder Bomb. When Zayn attempted to submit Miz via the figure 4 leg lock, Maurice, Miz's real-life wife, ran over to the scorekeeper's table and rang the ring bell. This led Zayn to believe he had won via submission. Instead, while Zayn was confused, Miz rolled him up from behind to earn the 1-2-3 and retain the title. The championship will stay on SmackDown, which is the best booking decision WWE could make. The Miz, C. Def. Sami Zayn via pinfall to retain the title. Women's 5-on-5 elimination match. The women's match was relatively formulaic for Survivor Series with each team alternating eliminations until Raw pulled away at the end. Before the match began, Nikki Bella was found down hurt in the backstage area, so SmackDown coach Natalya took her place. Of course, a video shown Tuesday on SmackDown will likely prove that Natalya was behind the attack, starting a feud. Sasha Banks found her way out of the match earlier than expected, as did Nia Jax, who had the spot of the match with a double single-arm suplex on Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch. Ultimately, it was Raw that prevailed as Jax, after her elimination, took Lynch out at ringside, giving Raw a 2-on-1 advantage to first pin Bliss and then eliminate an injured Lynch. Bayley clinched the victory by pinning Lynch, only to be attacked by Charlotte after the match. Survivors: Charlotte, Bayley. Raw, 2 survivors: Def. SmackDown: Goldberg vs. Brock Lesnar. Goldberg shocks by dominating Lesnar. Goldberg barely broke a sweat, improving to 2-0 against Brock Lesnar. Good show overall. 2016 Survivor Series provided one of the most shocking endings in recent memory as Goldberg, out of big-time professional wrestling since 2004, beat down WWE's top box office draw Brock Lesnar in just 84 seconds. This is literally all that happened in the match. Lesnar lifted up Goldberg. Goldberg pushed Lesnar to the ground. Goldberg then speared Lesnar twice in a row and opted not to attempt a pinfall either time. Goldberg finished it by lifting Lesnar into the air, hitting the jackhammer and earning the 1-2-3. The finish was absolutely shocking considering the expectation Sunday was that Lesnar, who is on a massive contract with WWE, would get his revenge on Goldberg after falling 12 years ago at WrestleMania 20. Goldberg was believed to be on a one-match contract with WWE as he promotes the 2K17 video game, though that may not necessarily be the case considering the finish of this match. The development leaves a lot of questions hanging out there, most notably the future of Lesnar, who has run through the entire WWE roster and even handed The Undertaker his lone WrestleMania defeat, and whether Goldberg will wind up wrestling again. Check out 2/3 of the match below and the rest of your WWE Survivor Series results after the break.